As Muslims, we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have ordered us to be the best people possible. So a Muslim, when it comes to his ibadah, he's ordered to be the best. When it comes to his interactions with others, he's supposed to have the best character, the best conduct. He's supposed to be the one who is upright and trustworthy. We find that at times our iman starts to wane. Our iman starts to get old, as mentioned by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a hadith. He says, iman starts to wear away. In the same way, a garment wears away. So when you have a piece of clothing and you wear it and you wear it and you wear it, you find that even though it was new, it eventually starts to get old. And it eventually starts to get old. And then the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that a person should renew his iman. This is speaking about religion. So yes, a Muslim is ordered to do good. So you find at the beginning, for example, a person may decide, let me be from those who are performing all their salawat and being in the masjid, and those who have the best character and conduct. And let me be from those who are upright in business. Let me be from those who, when I've given somebody an appointment, I will be on time. And you find it happens for 1, 2, 3 weeks. Then you find in the 4th week, for example, something goes wrong. Maybe he misses a salah, he misses the masjid. He finds somebody who troubles him, so they see a bad side of him, a bad side when it comes to his character and conduct. Hence, we are ordered to renew all our good deeds, to renew this pact with ourselves, and that is starting with iman. And that's why the topic I want to touch on today is the importance of maintaining standards, maintaining a high standard. As we mentioned, as Muslims, we are ordered to be the best, and due to our human nature, we become weak at times. So how do you maintain the standard? How do you carry on ensuring, for example, that your salah is in order, that your zakah is in order, that your character and conduct is in order, that your interactions with everybody else is in order? Firstly, it starts off with accountability, being able to take account of yourself. That's why it's mentioned that Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu says, "Hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasab." Take account of yourselves, i.e., look at your deeds. What am I doing? Take account of yourselves and be strict. That's why some of the scholars mention that when you're taking account of yourself, don't be somebody who's lenient, where, oh no, it's okay, Allah will forgive. No, they say look at yourself and take account of yourself in the same way a stingy business partner takes account of his partner. So you find when people are in partnership and one of the partners is extremely miserly and stingy, he won't even let 1 cent go. In the same way when it comes to yourself, be strict with yourself when you're taking accountability or when you're taking account of yourself. So, for example, you be honest. Ask yourself, when it comes to my salah, 3-4 weeks ago, mashallah, I was reading my salah in the best of manner. And all of a sudden now, I'm finding myself struggling to read it on time. My fajr, I'm barely making it. There's only 1 or 2 minutes. This, if you look at it, is the first step to rectify this error, to rectify this lack when it comes to your standard. This drop in standard is taking account. And for a person to take account of their deeds and to be successful with it, they firstly got to be honest with themselves. At times what happens is we look at all other circumstances and everybody else to blame. So at times we blame the weather, at times we blame the traffic, at times we blame the country we live in. Yes, all those at times may play a part, but at the end of the day, you have to be honest and realize that Allah gave you that choice and that free will, and you are ultimately responsible for the choices you made. Why is it that some people, even though they've got so many things to do, they still read their 5 times salah? They've got so many things to do, they're still obedient to their parents. They may not be going there to visit them every day, at least a phone call once a week or however it may be. Why are other people able to do it? And this brings me back to what we're mentioning. You've got to be honest with yourself. You know what? Sit down, ponder, reflect, and take severe accountability. Take severe account be strict and strong on yourself. So that's the first point, is for you to actually look at yourself. The second point, how does a person get back to maintaining a standard? You find that generally the people you live with, the people who are around you, they may notice a change when it comes to your ibadat. So you find a person may say that, I always saw you in the masjid, and now for 3 weeks I haven't seen you. Yes, if you were out, you had an excuse, it's different. But if it's merely due to laziness, what this person is saying, don't be quick to deny it or to make an excuse if you've got no valid excuse. No, be honest with yourself. Yes, it hurts when somebody tells you, but that bi'idhnillah will allow you and help you to rectify this mistake. You find that in your home, your wife or your children or your parents, they tell you something. For example, your standards have dropped when it comes to school, if they're telling one of the children. Yes, at times the child may want to rebel and he may want to throw and dismiss this altogether. But he's got to be honest with himself that, you know what, my parent is telling me this, surely there's something wrong. And when he is able to acknowledge there's something wrong, then he's able to rectify it. But you find at times people, they refuse to accept any criticism from anybody else. And that in turn keeps them in a bad state and they become worse. So my beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, at times what society and community may be telling you, there's a lot of truth to it. And yes, at times the things they say which are negative, which are not true, which are completely false, leave it. You don't have to take it. The third important point I want to touch on when it comes to accountability and how does a person help himself elevate again? How does he help himself to get to the standard where he was? If you have good company, it could be from your siblings, it could be your parents, it could be anybody else who you trust, who you're able to sit with, who you're able to speak to. Have a conversation with them every once in a while. At times you may have an ambition, you may have a goal. You want to memorize, for example, before the month of Ramadan, you want to memorize so many surah. If you're unable to memorize, or you memorize, you want to recite from the Quran, for example. You say, before the month of Ramadan, I want to complete 1 juz at least. Yes, if it's you yourself, you may become weak, shaitan may distract you. But the minute you tell somebody about this, and it's somebody you trust, somebody who cares for you, you say, you know what, this is one of my goals for Ramadan. Please follow up with me. Let them keep you accountable, and vice versa. You also help them to remain accountable for whatever deeds or whatever ambitions they may have. And you find with this, as we mentioned, the community itself grows because every single person is growing and becoming a better Muslim and a better person, and you find that there is love and rahmah between us all. So to recap, we spoke about accountability. We spoke about how when a person is able to be honest with himself, is able to understand that, you know what, my standard here has dropped. And we also mentioned how the Messenger ﷺ informed us that when it comes to Iman, when it comes to your religion, it actually wears away, it wanes away. And it's your job to renew this Iman. How does a person renew his Iman? There's many different ways, but obviously being close to the Quran, reciting the Quran, understanding the Quran, pondering over the Quran, understanding your mission and your purpose in life. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you here? Are you going to be here forever? No, you're not. What's your job here? Your job is to get as many good deeds as possible before you go. A lot of times we find that because we have a routine, the whole week we carry on going the same way. You wake up, you find a person eats, they go to work, they come back, they rest in the evening, they may have time with their family, and this cycle just repeats itself, and at times we live such that we think we're going to do this forever. This should never be the case. That's why if a person, it's recommended, and you find a lot of the scholars mention it, if you are able to take account of your day on a day-to-day basis, it may be before you go to bed or when you wake up, you ask yourself, you know what did I do today? What did I achieve today? Is there something, at least one thing in my day that I can comfortably say, when I meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will be happy with this. How many of us we find that the day passes, we've done or we've served everybody around us. We've done whatever is important for our worldly life. But when it comes to what's for our akhirah, when it comes to the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we find that a lot of us have not done anything. My beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, it's extremely important for us to prepare for the day that we will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله. Calling us to have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then calling us to look, i.e. to prepare for what we are going to present tomorrow, i.e. when a person dies and on the day of Qiyamah, the only thing you'll have, it won't be your business, it won't be your buildings, it won't be your cars, it won't be any of that, it will be your deeds. That's what you are going to present. وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدْ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-knowing of what you do. Immediately after that he says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Don't be like those who forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He in turn caused them to forget themselves. Imagine, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the first verse to prepare. Then He's telling us, don't be like those who forgot. Because this shows us that if a person does not take into consideration that he has to prepare for the day of judgment, if he does not take account of himself, most definitely he's going to fall into unmindfulness, he's going to fall into ghafla. With those few words, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us goodness and beneficial knowledge, and make us from those who are able to take account of themselves in this world, and may He make us from those on the day of Qiyamah who have no account to give and are entered into Jannah, the highest parts of Jannah, without any prior punishment.